Just before we jump into the madness that is an 8-player free-for-all game, let me set the stage by introducing our players. The black Zerg at the bottom is none other than Serral. His next door Terran neighbor in the dark purple is Clem. Let's call that Violet, because I'm going to jump over to the light purple on the right-hand side, where we have our Italian Zerg player, the current top Eligilac ranked player in the world, Reynor. Just below him in the yellow is his next door neighbor. It's the German Protoss player, none other than Showtime. Our regular viewers know that Showtime is a perennial favorite on this channel. But let me stop gawking and move over to the top of the map where we have our orange Protoss. Put your synthetic limbs together for Harstem! Do not want to get in a scrape with this guy. But his next door neighbor is going to be the French Zerg, the hyper-aggressive they call Denver! And in the top left is actually TLO. He shouldn't be here, he's the game master. I believe that disappears once the game gets going. Instead, feast your eyes upon the green Spanish Terran. He is Aqueron. His next door neighbor to the south is our final player, the pink Protoss. He is the Russian pro SKillous. This is gonna be chaos. Can't wait to hit that start button. Here's your super quick primer on the rules. You can win by eliminating all the other players, or you can pick up 5 points by controlling the center. When it's goal time, the computer gives a 1-minute countdown. Whoever has this space takes the point. And if it's not goal time, controlling the center earns you minerals and gas. But the center is a very dangerous place to be. So without further ado, let's get this party started.
The game begins now.
Okay, so as the game starts, the first thing we see is that TLO has conveniently disappeared, so that's good. We also see that the players have wasted no time at all sucking up to TLO. The veteran Harstem knows the importance of that technique, and Reynor tries to get in on it. So if you don't know, TLO has the ability to make the game more interesting by dropping random nukes or doling out extra minerals and gas. It makes the game a lot more theatrical, but at times a little arbitrary. Oh man, Harstem and Reynor are like tripping over themselves. But it's Aqueron who's taken the center early. Showtime is there too though, he was actually the first to get a worker out. The bonus minerals have not yet started to flow though. This is just early jockeying for position. I think that's the official starting nukes there. To my mind, getting the center early is actually a terrific strategy. Because as you know, an early boost in minerals can have a huge dividend if the game runs long. Even an extra 50 minerals can have a big snowballing effect. And it looks like Aqueron and Showtime know it. But TLO's not going to make it easy for them. He wants to show off all the pre-built effects he has at his disposal. Looks like he can spell his name with corrosive vials. Of course, an alternate strategy is to keep your head down and stay out of things. Survivor fans know this as stay under the radar. Harstem's arrived and he's showing a little leadership here. He's proposing they take turns sharing the extra resources at the center. As you can see, almost all of our players are making an effort to take their natural expansion at this point in the game. A notable exception appears to be SKillous. Our pink Protoss is, whoa! Our Game Master TLO just indicated a plan to nerf Serral. I don't know what that means, but I suppose Serral is supposed to be honored. They promised it would be a chaotic game, they didn't promise it would be fair. Serral's like, what? Okay, Showtime's actually dropped a pylon at this point. It's one thing to chase out a worker, it's a whole other ball of wax to get rid of a building. And I guess at some point it'll let him warp in there. Now Showtime's Zealot, on the other hand, is the first significant unit to take the center. And you can see it's almost already paid for itself. But Clem's Reaper's here with the denial. If he can afford the APM and attention, he can kite that Zealot. Okay, so it looks like SKillous and Aqueron are not getting along. And that is going to be a problem for them because they are next door neighbors. Reynor's going to help Clem clean out Showtime's pylon. Reynor's supposed to be Showtime's next door neighbor, so there's not going to be any love lost there either. And it would appear that TLO has the power to drop a scan on the entire map. That's going to give a few seconds of vision to all the players. It's going to reveal where everybody is. So much for secrets in this game. It's also going to remind the players that there are island bases, one in each of the 4 corners. What the? TLO just split the map in half, creating 2 teams. Everyone's just been forced to get along with their immediate neighbor. Maybe he's giving SKillous and Aqueron a chance to cool off. I did want to say I predict those island bases will be a huge factor. There might look like there's a lot of minerals on this map, but with 8 players, it's going to go fast. Just another reason why sourcing minerals from the center could prove to be important. Here we see Showtime walling off his natural. Looks like he's changed his mind about the center and now he wants to hunker down. It's SKillous who has the center now. He was the slowest to expand, so it's not surprising that he has a larger army. His neighbor Aqueron's going to invest in defense with a loaded bunker at his front door. And now everybody's making a play for the center. There's a game point to be captured every 3 minutes. We'll get a 1-minute warning when that happens. Those are Serral's lings mixing it up in there. Right now we've got chaos, so I'm looking to see if we'll get some alliances. With this many players, I almost think that there's a social dimension to this game now. Having micro and macro is important, but having a friend who has micro and macro is even more important. Oh, TLO's dropped the fake teams. Everybody's an enemy once again. And we've got our first 1-minute warning. The first point is up for grabs. Who wants an early lead? Reynor's in it. Clem's thinking about it. Or maybe he's trying to time it. There's no point in being in there too soon. He's just close enough to deny Reynor the minerals. Clem's going for it. Reynor pulls out. Is it Clem's point? We need like a countdown clock to the actual point. Oh, Reynor seems to be hinting at an alliance between him and Clem. TLO has somehow glitched one of SKillous probes into the bottom right. If he can get a base up there, that'll be a nice gift. Serral's eyeing that space, though. He's got an overlord there, and he's going to poop some creep to make that difficult. Oh, Clem has rejected Reynor's proposed alliance. And Aqueron's going to float his command center over to an island base. He doesn't need no gift from TLO to get one. Oh, Harstem's going to one-up everybody by putting some DTs in the center. He's the new boss until somebody gets detection. But if everybody keeps dancing around close enough, they're going to be able to deny him the minerals. Oh, Denver's advising him. There could be a Denver-Harstem alliance. They're next-door neighbors. That would be hugely mutually beneficial. And speaking of Denver, it looks like he's actually bullied Aqueron out of the top left base. He's dumped creep there, so his command center can't land. Nobody has an answer for Harstem's DTs. Whoa, maybe TLO does. He puts a nuke right on the center. Everybody has to leave. Oh, but not before he picks up a point. Harstem with the first point of the game. Small skirmishes breaking out everywhere. But look at Showtime. He's actually got a Colossus loaded in his Warp Prism. It's Colossus drops in a free-for-all 8-player game. Showtime's a class act. He's figured out this is not just about winning and losing. This is about entertaining the audience. Oh, and did you catch Serral's diss? He takes a clear shot at Harstem, to which TLO rewards him with a nuclear strike. Serral has to evacuate his natural. Showtime, you are so awesome. He's just carving up Reynor. 9 kills on that Colossus so far. And rising. Okay, I probably shouldn't spend the whole game watching Colossus drops on the side of the map. Oh, Harstem's giving Denver a base location. There's definitely alliance going on there. TLO expresses a little guilt after nuking Serral's drones. So now he gives him a big money boost. What a weird thing. Okay, I'm not sure who's giving who the base here. There might not be total peace in paradise there after all. But regardless, Denver has taken the center with a huge contingent of roaches. Or at least he was until TLO dropped a storm on him. Yeah, Denver lodges a complaint. I would too. SKillous is the beneficiary. He gets to take the center. And look at this, Serral taking his expansion right next to Clem. Are they allied? Meanwhile, it looks like it's Showtime who's going to take the bottom right base. His Warp Prism delivers the probes just as the Nexus warps in. Have Denver and Harstem finally worked out who's going to get that expansion site? Yes, Denver kills his own creep tumor. That's going to get rid of the creep and let Harstem move in. Meanwhile, he's solidified the top left. A Nidus Worm is going to make it a lot easier for him to defend that. There may be a nice alliance to the north, but there's no such thing on the west on the left-hand side. Aqueron and SKillous have been going at it for a while. They could both come out losers here. Oh, we have our 1 minute warning for the next available point. Right now it's Reynor who's camped out in position. And speaking of Reynor though, he's got mutas put together and he's actually going after Denver on the opposite side of the map. I'm not too sure what that gets him. He should be fortifying himself against Showtime unless those two have finally made an alliance. And speaking of neighbors who failed to get along, Clem and Serral are going at it now. Clem's massing battle cruisers. That could be so hard to deal with. These two need a mediator really badly. Serral's got a Lurker Hydra composition. What? Denver's just popped up a Nidus Worm on Showtime's island expansion. With Serral, but it's Denver. Meanwhile, SKillous is taking the center, but Harstem and Reynor aren't prepared to just let him have it. And then TLO throws in a stasis ward. That probably helps Reynor as much as it hurts him. Keep his lings alive while the stalkers sort this out. Aqueron's going after Denver's top expansion. And the second point of the game is now available. SKillous and Harstem are putting their chips in the table. So is Reynor. The mutas themselves cannot capture the center, but his lings can. Great timing by Reynor. He steals it at the last second after Harstem and SKillous beat each other up. Harstem and Reynor are now tied for first place with 1 point apiece. Aqueron putting his BCs up against Denver's Hydras. Denver's stashed his tech structures there. He's got to defend that. And Reynor's mutas going at Showtime's main. He's getting revenge for all those Colossus drops. And while Aqueron was busy going after Denver, SKillous was going after him. Aqueron's forced to use a tactical jump to save his own base. Meanwhile, Denver begs for help, and TLO answers his call. He gives him a little money boost. And then, Harstem is trying to organize a little anti-Serral attack. In this game, at least, those two do not like each other. Aqueron and SKillous, who are really hurting. So, of course, Denver and Harstem declare an intention to go after him, and TLO quickly moves to prop him up with an infusion of minerals and gas. And TLO just took the center with this crazy Terran outlay. I didn't know he could do that. I don't know if SKillous has suddenly joined the attack against Aqueron, or this is just what he's been doing all game long. But if Aqueron gets squeezed in between SKillous and Denver, he's done for. Reynor's muta is still active against Showtime. Wow, you would not have expected Denver to take over the bottom right when he's located at the top left. But with his Nidus Worms, that's exactly what he's done. Oh, Clem is just quietly throwing everything into battle cruisers, and he is getting big. Oh, it's definitely beat on Aqueron day. I'm not sure how much more of that he can take. I don't know if Serral and Clem have reached an alliance, but they seem to at least have a peace accord. They're both massing up. Serral's problem, though, is he really doesn't have any expansions. Oh, there's Denver ripping into the heart of Aqueron. And we have our 1 minute warning for the third point of the game. I'm not sure that Aqueron is going to live to see it. Hello, Denver. Showtime called. He wants his expansion back. But Showtime has to drop his units with his Warp Prism. Denver can just use his Nidus one. Oh, come on. TLO just whisked Denver's natural away as Reynor was attacking it. Aqueron's almost dropped below 100 supply. It's actually Serral and Reynor who have the highest supplies right now. I don't know how Reynor's doing that with Showtime on his case. Showtime seems to have given up on that island expansion. If he wants real estate, he's going to have to evict Reynor. But Reynor's a lot bigger than he was a couple minutes ago. Showtime is forced to fall back. Oh, it looks like it might be game time for the center. Who wants to take it from TLO's Terran setup? SKillous seems to be interested, and so is Reynor. It looks like he's going to roll up his sleeves and do the dirty work. And the center is open up for capture. He's timed it. Has Reynor secured a second point? He has! Reynor takes the lead 2-1 over Harstem with everybody else at 0. Serral has his eyes on a different prize. He's taking the island expansion from Denver. That bottom right expansion has changed hands so many times. Despite the fact that he's got a continual border skirmish going on here with Serral, Clem's still in pretty good shape because his island expansion is largely unchallenged. Whereas the islands to the top left, where Denver's now trying to get back in, and top right, where Cyril's trying to get back in, they've been constant sources of battles. Oh, well, I guess Clem can't be too pleased with himself because he's getting nuked by TLO. He had to work pretty hard to secure that third. Oh, the battle cruisers were all hit there. I don't think he was watching. Clem gives off the triple question mark. What did I do? What did I do? If only the world made sense, Clem. If only the world made sense. And then TLO decides to underscore the sheer nihilism of it all. He drops 1 million nukes in the air behind Harstem's base. It'll be an impressive light show without meaning. Meanwhile, Aqueron's begging for money. He's definitely got to be the most in need. I'm really surprised we haven't seen big blocks of allies coming yet. Usually you see a lot more of that in a free-for-all. But with the exception of Harstem and Denver, it really does seem like everybody's just battling everybody. But remember, you can't actually set your settings to allies, so even if you do have an alliance with somebody, you're still going to hit them from time to time. Once again, Harstem's trying to drum up support to get everybody to attack Serral. The map situation doesn't really call for it. I think Harstem's just got it out for him. Or alternatively, he's worried about what happens if he leaves Serral unchecked for too long. Denver calls for everyone to attack Aqueron, whereas SKillous tries to explain it's actually Clem who has 200 supply in BCs. TLO drops a hint to this as well. Oh, we got a 1-minute warning. Another point is going to be up for grabs. Let's see if anybody's interested or if they're just too busy battling every which way in front of their bases. TLO decides if no one's going to attack Clem, he'll do it. He drops a nuke on Clem's island base. Oh, Harstem is amassed carriers and he's going for the center. Notice he's brought a couple of blink stalkers. You have to actually have a ground unit to take that center. So the other players don't actually have to defeat Harstem's carrier. They just have to take out the blink stalkers. Oh, Cyril's gonna throw some chips into the table. He's taking the center too. He's got Vipers to pull those carriers into his Hydras. Yeah, blink stalkers cannot face that many battlecruisers at once. I have to agree, Clem may have become the dominant powerhouse here. Wow, 15 minutes and Aqueron is still alive. Oh, and I do believe the center just opened up for capture. It's Serral. Serral took it. So it's still Reynor in the lead with 2 points. Serral and Harstem just 1 point behind. Aqueron's actually expanding into SKillous' base. It's actually SKillous who's getting wiped out here. I think a lot of that was Clem's doing. This side battle between Showtime and Reynor's been awesome. I almost wish I could carve it out and watch it independently. Harstem on the all caps. He's trying to get passage by Denver. Oh yeah, I did not see this coming. Aqueron is just pounding on SKillous. It is Serral and Harstem who have the greatest supply right now. And Denver's not far behind. Those three are pretty close to being maxed out. Serral's managed to hold control over that bottom right island for a while now, and I think it's starting to make a big difference for him. But where are the alliances, people? I feel like these guys are all such hardcore 1v1 players, they don't have the skill sets to say, hey, buddy, let's team up. Oh, a huge lifeline was just thrown to SKillous there. TLO gives him a ton of money. But I don't know if Aqueron's going to let him spend it. He's trying to finish him off. It looks like that fungal growth on Aqueron was courtesy of TLO. I don't see any Zerg around there. Oh, but it's too little too late. SKillous, GG's. He's the first one eliminated. Our vaunted 8 is now down to 7. And this has caused Denver to appreciate the true threat that is Clem. Whoa! Harstem just did a mothership recall right over top of Aqueron's main. His carrier army is just going to completely hollow out all of his production facilities. Death by capital ship, baby. So that's what he was doing when he asked Denver to let him by. He flew his mothership around Denver to get at his base. So unless another player or TLO is going to rescue Aqueron, I think he's toast. Though I've said that a few times and I've been wrong. Meanwhile, we've got Reynor begging for money. He gets it from TLO. And the 1 minute warning has been sounded. Nobody's really even close to the center right now other than Serral. Why is Aqueron using the last of his battlecruisers to attack Reynor? Oh, he tactical jumped onto Showtime thinking it was Harstem. You got the wrong Protoss, dude. His last gambit for revenge failed. Aqueron GG's. He's out. We are down to 6 players. Now, geographically, a bunch of space on the left-hand west side has just opened up for Denver and Clem. So I would predict they would be the biggest beneficiaries of the eliminations. So suddenly TLO decides to pretty much nuke everybody left in the game, as well as nuke the people who are no longer there. I'm sure he has his liquid-type reasons. We are being reminded of the score. I think that means the center is about open to capture. It is. Serral grabs the point, uncontested. The Night King has just tied Reynor for the lead. I'm not quite sure how he's managing that with Clem on his left-hand side. Harstem is again trying to rally the troops to organize an attack on Serral. It looks like Serral's response is essentially, bring it on, dudes. This is so neat. You never get to see Serral trash talk in a normal game. He's too busy hitting opportunities for larva injects that you and I never knew even existed. Oh, Harstem's done ordering around his minions. He's attacked Serral himself with a big recall. He's just massacred Serral's hive. That is a blow. Serral's pulling back to deal with Harstem. That means his position in the center is about to become vulnerable. Clem and Showtime are both joining in. It really is an everyone versus Serral moment here. Showtime and Clem both stand to benefit hugely if Serral's eliminated. But what's this? Now Clem's going after Denver. Denver was clearly coming to help the attack. It's just so difficult to have any kind of alliance in this setup. Meanwhile, Harstem's keeping the pressure on Serral. He's cleaning out his island base. Serral's trying to make him pay for it with abducts. There's a lot less carriers than when Harstem started. Oh, and Showtime's moving into Reynor's third. If he takes it for himself, that's going to be a problem for Reynor long term. Our map is already starting to get pretty resource poor. Oh, look at this. Clem was indeed chasing away Denver. He's not trying to protect Serral. He's just trying to take control of the center for himself. He's going to build an entrenched position with eBays. TLO just does not seem to like his Team Liquid teammate. He just keeps nuking him. Denver takes a shot at trying to solve the Clem problem, but he just gets wiped out. He calls for help. Don't feel too sorry for Denver though. He has claimed that empty real estate over on the left-hand side. He's got more expansions than pretty much anybody at this point. Harstem is begging for gas while he cleans out Showtime here. Kudos to Showtime for all the pride he showed in this game. I haven't seen him ask for anything. Never mind. As soon as I say that, he asked TLO to nuke Harstem. Showtime is hurt bad. I don't know if he can stay in this much longer. I think we're looking at the next player to fall. Reynor's got to be relieved. I haven't seen hard evidence of it, but it feels like Reynor is effectively allied with Denver and Harstem. Harstem hasn't attacked Reynor in a very long time, and they are next door to each other. So it's actually Serral who's going to come back and dislodge Clem from the center. The everyone on Serral thing kind of petered out and he managed to recover. And there's Showtime officially tapping out. We are down to 5 players. Here comes the celebratory nukes. Well, props to Showtime for doing as well as he did with the hand that he was dealt. Oh, and the center's opening up again. Oh, I'm a fool. Serral wasn't trying to pair back Clem. He was taking the center for the point. He's already cracked this game. Serral's keeping one eye on the clock and he darts in when he needs to. And now he's even going to try to take back the lower right-hand side expansion. But Harstem says no. His carrier force is really tough to deal with. And now he's going to try to lock that up with a spread of photon cannons. So how appropriate is it that Serral has the lead with Reynor right on his heels? Of course, there's always the most up-and-coming player in all of Starcraft 2. That would be Clem. He's the youngest kid on the block and notorious for his boatloads of potential. Though the potential thing's a bit of a trope. He's actually pretty darn good now. Oh, Serral wants that mothership. He wants it. Is it getting away? No, he brings it back. Did you see how quickly the locust that did the abduct switched to consume? It was like instantaneous. It's a game for giggles and his mechanics are still uncanny. Oh, Denver's going after Clem's island. He's got a Nidus worm with some hydras, but a tactical jump of battlecruisers will deal with that. Denver got one of Clem's command centers, but Clem's kind of got 2 more. TLO's trying to get in on the action. Look at this little micro duel. Can you dodge Biles with battlecruisers? Or TLO just writing his name again? Oh, he cheats and drops the fungal growth. Oh. Harstem's calling Clem out for failing to make plays in the game. I think sitting back is a legit strategy. But I guess at some point, those who have allied against you are going to take notice. Reynor continues to complain about his misfortune. I think Reynor's plan is to try to keep reassuring everybody he's a complete non-threat at this point. Meanwhile, Clem, who apparently makes no plays, has made a very solid play for the middle. Keep in mind, he actually has 0 points. If he's going to win on points, this game actually has to go on for another 15 minutes. And at this point, the map is largely drained of money. There's the 1-minute warning for the 7th point. I expect Serral to start his mental countdown. Oh, but Serral's pre-calculated it'll take him the full 60 seconds to get rid of Clem's eBays. He's attacking now. If Serral can get this, he'll be only 1 point away from stealing this game. I love it. The alliance of 3 guys are whining about Clem while Serral's silently dealing with him. That top left island base actually has a decent cache of minerals left in it. Oh, spoke too soon. Denver's gonna try to go after Clem again. And there's still some decent minerals in the bottom right. But nobody's actually got a base down there at the moment. Oh, Serral's gonna go for point number 4. He's got the center. Where's the clock at? Where's the clock at? Clem's annoyed and going after Denver instead. He's gonna gift it to Serral. And in retaliation, Denver's gonna Nidus Worm Clem's main. There aren't any minerals there, but those are Clem's production facilities. And Serral takes point number 4. He's just 1 away from winning. The Unholy Alliance was too focused on Clem. Now Clem moves to dislodge Serral, but he's too late. Reynor even makes an appearance. He's built up his corruptors somewhat. Harstem attacking Serral once again. Harstem and Denver are maxed out. The Kings of the North are way down on points, but the Unholy Alliance has a real chance to eliminate their opponents. Denver is ravaging Clem's main right now. Serral's been decimated. But even a decimated Serral's pretty scary. He's going to try Infestors to deal with those carriers. So my theory is Clem's not actually trying to take the middle for points. He just has no other source of minerals, so he's just controlling it for the money. I think he has to know he can't go from 0 to 5 points unless he plays until next Tuesday. But look at that, he's just sucking up resources. And a tactical jump will defend his main. And if that costs him his control of the middle, which it did, he can always just try to get it back later. I really like Denver's position. I feel like he's the guy who can afford to lose an entire army and then remax. He's got the hatches to do it. Oh, this is interesting. Serral gives us a little insight here. He explains he's not struggling with money at all. In fact, he does have a bank over 5,000. What he doesn't have are larvae. Harstem's wiped out almost all his hatches. Oh, TLO's propping up the complaining Reynor. Oh, mass neural parasite. Countered by a recall. Talk about cutting the cord. I don't see how anybody stops Harstem or Denver, especially if they keep that alliance until they're the final 2. Serral's down to 75 supply. But if he can somehow manage to throw everything into getting 1 more point, he wins this thing. He's way ahead of me. He's already eyeing the center. Oh, TLO messes him over with another appearance of a Terran army. And he does it right on the 1-minute countdown. That's not going to be enough to stop Serral, though. Somebody else has to get in there. It won't be Clem if Denver's attacking him. This is going to be close. Serral's looking to pounce. This could be game. Sarah's Hydras are going in. There's not a lot of them. Denver's coming in. Denver's got a much bigger force. Cyril's forced to turn back. Denver has single-handedly saved the game for the other players. Meanwhile, Harstem's decided he's tolerated Reynor long enough. He's just way bigger than Reynor. I'm not sure what Reynor can do other than try to micro his heart out. Denver's forced Serral way back. He's not letting him near that center. I feel like the point should be awarded any second here. It'll be Denver's first. The Hydras surround the watchtower as though worshipping some alien god. You really gotta hand it to Reynor for his survivability. Harstem just cannot pin him to the mat. And Denver seizes the point. That was a bit anticlimactic. And he withdraws his forces. He doesn't need the money like Clem does. So it's Harstem and Denver with 1 point apiece. Reynor with 2, and unlikely to see any more. and Serral with 4. At this point, TLO declares no more money for anyone. That is great news for Denver. He is best positioned to withstand a drought here. Clem's headed back to the center. That's his milk money. Once again with a breather in between points, Harstem's gonna focus on Reynor. Reynor wants to make it expensive. It costs him his mothership. But if TLO is not handing any more alms, Reynor's in big trouble. Oh, Harstem stops the attack. He's offering Reynor a deal. If Reynor will agree to be his butt monkey and fight Serral for him, he'll let him live. Reynor wastes no time in agreeing to that. Serral's like, what gives? I only have 100 supply. Harstem's like, yeah, no, I've been watching the score. You're at 4 points. Meanwhile, Denver seems to be making nice with Clem. Oh, Serral's not happy to be getting ganged up on. He's letting Harstem know it. He's getting a little personal there. For the record, I don't think there is a pro Starcraft player out there that's actually anything less than genius. Though taunting the Protoss gorilla might not be the best move right now. Oh, here's Harstem's comeback. All I see is me with 200 supply and you with 100. Maybe Serral's plan is to keep everybody busy with the chit-chat. Then maybe you can make one more final shot at going for the center. It doesn't look like the Reynor as Harstem's minion plan is actually working out. They're continuing to battle each other. Thanks to his agreement with Denver, Clem's now sucking minerals out of the center. But I wouldn't exactly say he's got a bank. There isn't a player out there who actually has 1,000 minerals or more. Everybody's fighting poor here. Oh, Denver and Clem now have a peace accord. That's really bad news for Serral and Reynor. Yeah, Harstem's turned his attention back on Serral. It's 1 minute to point time. Serral needs to somehow hang on. But the problem is Clem has got the center locked down this time. And Denver's gonna let him have it. Somehow Serral has to survive Harstem and cut through Clem at the same time. Oh, and Clem's going after Serral now. That's like 400 supply on 100. Not even the Night King can withstand that for very long. There's way more interceptors than there are Hydras. Serral's in a vice. I don't know how he gets out of this. Oh, Denver's not going after Serral anymore now that he's pulled back. He's actually going after Reynor. Reynor demands an explanation. And Denver tells him it's for some kind of slight that happened 10 minutes ago. Oh, it's point time, and it looks like it's definitely going to be Clem. That's his first. So if you eliminate the weak Zergs from the calculus, this game is actually tied. Harstem, Denver, and Clem all have 1 point apiece. Oh, there it is. Serral throws in the towel. It's a GG for the Finnish Zerg. We are down to the final 4. And what's this? Denver is knifing his ally. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Denver's gonna use the element of surprise to see how much damage he can inflict on Harstem. He's got to move fast. If he can paralyze his ally before he can respond. The consequence of this, though, is that it means Reynor's gonna get to live. Especially since TLO breaks his word and gifts Reynor even more money. How does Harstem respond? Denver tries to recruit his new buddy Clem. I guess TLO, he threw down a scan to help with the DTs. With Serral's 4 points effectively wiped off the board, I think this is now more about elimination than it is about points. And the Denver versus Harstem battle is probably going to be pivotal. Harstem dropping the storms. Hydras do not like electricity. Remember, they had their hit points lowered several patches back, just so that storms could rip them apart quicker. Oh man, I think Clem might be looking to prove me wrong. He's like, maybe I will just camp out in this circle for the next 12 minutes and take this game. I guess TLO might have something to say about that. He's gonna make him dodge Biles once again. Denver with the Nidus Worm on Harstem's island base. One of his 2 island bases, I should say. I think Reynor needs to pick an ally right now. He needs to make himself valuable to somebody if he's gonna stay in this. Though he is proving to be a bit like a cockroach. I thought he'd be dead like 7 times over now, and he keeps hanging in there. He should be coming up to the next goal point opportunity. TLO's getting really active with the special effects. There's the 1 minute warning. But I really do think the Denver versus Harstem battle is critical right now. Whoever comes out of that should be in a dominant position. Unless Unless they hammer each other enough that it's Clem who remains on top. And I guess there's gotta be some kind of scenario where Reynor can still win. It's a bit like poker. As long as you got a chip in a chair, you're still in the game. There are not a lot of minerals left on this map. I can't get a minerals per minute statistic, but if I did, I'd be betting Clem's actually coming out ahead by controlling the center. Oh, Denver's showing some signs of aggression towards Reynor. I would expect that if he goes after Reynor, that's it for the Italian Zerg. But Reynor seems to be surviving everything. TLO's still seeing what he can do to dislodge Clem. In another minute, Clem is going to tie Reynor for the lead on points. It just happened. That's Clem's second point. That's actually the 10th point of the game. Oh, Denver's flip-flopping. He's now proposing that Clem is a problem. Are Harstem and Denver going to make nice once again? Denver, anyway, is definitely no longer allied with Clem. He's going after his main again. No sign that Harstem's participating. The self-proclaimed playmaker is keeping out of it. At least so far. He's trying to rebuild. Clem wants to persuade Denver, 1, he's alone, and 2, this is a bad idea. But with Clem's battlecruisers out of position, Denver's going to try to take the center again. Lurkers down. Lurkers are submerged. Ah, TLO suspects that Harstem has secretly run out of interceptors. That's why he's not fighting. I think Harstem's actually telling the truth, though. He does have a bank of 700 minerals. If he needed interceptors, he'd make them. In fact, he's recovered quite nicely from Denver's backstab. Oh, look at those BCs all arrayed. It almost looks like it's some kind of fractal art. I think there's a defiance of a little bit of physics there. Oh, Harstem calls TLO an idiot. I don't know how wise that is. He's got a long way from his original sucking up at the start of the game. Harstem's sending out his carriers. I think he means to prove that he has interceptors. What? Reynor's going after Clem? He's got to be doing this in the hopes that TLO will give him minerals for this. But he's got no hope of making any kind of ground there. Meanwhile, it looks like Harstem potentially is going after Reynor. Well, it's Clem versus Denver that's going to continue to the south. He wants to recruit Harstem to the cause, but it's a little bit hard to get him to listen after he backstabbed. Oh, I think Harstem wants to make this the final 3. He's looking to mop up buildings. Here's our 1-minute warning. Clem's going to have an opportunity to go up to 3 points. Reynor's late game is so good. He's standing up to Harstem's carriers far better than he should. Holy smokes, is he actually going to do this? He's driving the Protoss away. Oh, props, man. This is like the 10th time I've thought that Reynor should have been eliminated from this game. Clem is definitely looking to win this with 5 points. He's spending his money on fortresses in the center. TLO notes that Harstem and Reynor have taken each other out. He's not wrong. Harstem has dropped below 100 supply. Reynor's got less than 30. Is Reynor doing the slow GG? Or is he going to hang in? TLO's basically declared this is between Denver and Clem. It's a battle between the 2 Frenchmen. Here's the 1-minute warning to the next point. Unless TLO gets involved, I'm not sure anyone can dislodge Clem. Denver, though, is going to try. He's bringing the infestors. Clem takes the lead with point number 3. He's 2 away from winning. And Reynor has finally GG'd and left the game. We are down to the final 3. Harstem proposes that they clear the middle. Clem's like, what do you think I've been doing for the last 5 minutes? Read the room, Harstem. Read the room. If Clem can defend his fortresses and keep an SCV in there for 6 minutes, he'll win this. But the Northern Alliance is clearly back on. Do Denver and Harstem collectively have the firepower to make this happen? It's so hard to gauge when TLO's helping out. In a way, it's really 3-on-1. There's only 1 fortress left, and it's on fire. It's gone. There's just a couple tattered buildings in the middle left, and they're just about gone. I think they should actually go for building elimination on Clem. They can't defeat the battle cruisers. but they should be able to outmaneuver them. And the two of them should be able to do it in under 5 minutes. So Harstem's stuck at around 100 supply. Denver's near maxed at 193, and Clem's got 196. Clem's also got a bank of 11,000 at this point. He's the front runner, but if you treat Denver and Harstem as an alliance, Clem is behind. Harstem's building the static defense in the center, and now he can even start warping in. TLO just slid Denver's Nidus network over to the center. I think that's his way of saying hint, hint, hint. Oh, if Harstem and Denver start going at it, Clem's gonna really benefit. Yeah, you don't accidentally abduct a carrier. Well, this isn't a 2-on-1, this is a 3-way FFA. Though Harstem's only got a single point. If he means to win this by capturing the center, this game's gonna go on for over an hour. Well, Denver's not prepared to wait that long. He's gonna dislodge Harstem. If you're Clem, I think you just sit back and quietly smile to yourself. If they each pick up a couple of points in the center, I don't think you care. Denver destroys his own Nidus network, the one that TLO moved into an awkward spot. Harstem just asked TLO to teleport him into Denver's main base. TLO's ignoring him though. He's busy nuking Clem. Correction, he's nuking everyone. This might be his way of subtly suggesting the game's gone on a little long. Yeah, I definitely think Clem should be lifting off buildings. He should be hiding some. I still think this eventually turns into a base race type situation. There's another point up for grabs. And Harstem swings back to grab it. So it's Clem with 3, Harstem with 2, and Denver with 1. Serral hasn't been in the game for the last 10 minutes and he's still got more points than everybody else. Look at that. Serral dominates games he's not even in. Clem has returned. He's got a renewed interest in taking the center. He's building again. I think he's figured out this is a bit like the Hunger Games. The tournament director is not going to let you sit back and hide that long. Oh, he's making it absolutely explicit. Fight middle or I nuke your armies. TLO's physically grabbing Harstem's carriers and reorienting them towards the center. I think this is going to have to get resolved in one big battle. Harstem sees the writing on the wall and is reluctantly coming into the center. He just doesn't have the muscle, though, to go toe-to-toe with Clem. The Yamato cannons are just sinking into the carriers. And the laser fires eliminating all the interceptors before they can get into attack. Clem's just got that critical mass that is so hard to stop. Denver's trying so hard to flee the battlefield, but TLO's just not gonna let him. He keeps trapping him with force fields. Yeah, unfortunately Hydras don't have burrow movement. Harstem looks to be on his last legs. He's gonna need Denver's support. I don't think he can do this alone. But Denver's busy running away from the nukes. I'm not sure he's getting TLO's hints here. Oh boy. Clem needs money for a unit for the ground. He can't grab points without one. I think he can drop a mule though if he has to. He's still got command centers. Denver announces he's got plans to attack. Harstem should wait for him. Oh, it's a Yamato Bonanza. That is just too much firepower. It's Harstem with the phonetic GG. We're down to our final 2 players. Oh yeah, Denver's right to attack right now. Clem's Yamato cooldowns will never be better than they are at this exact moment. Who has enough to go the distance? This could be it for the win. Oh my god, are there more battle cruisers and Hydras? TLO gives them the money to make that Marine, but I'm not sure it matters. Oh, the smell of ozone of dead Hydra must be overpowering. Denver has been decimated. I think Clem should chase Denver down. I don't think he should play for the middle anymore. But hey, not listening to me has gotten Clem all the way to the final 2. Why should he start now? He's gonna drop mules and try to pick up his final 2 points. TLO is gonna suggest that it's GG. Technically, they're almost even on supply, but Clem's got a much more expensive army. Can Denver take one last final run at it? Just chuck everything at those battle cruisers. Yeah, Denver doesn't want to give up. I wouldn't either after a 40-minute battle. TLL tells him that he's only got 30 seconds, but I don't know if he means it or not. The Game Master doesn't have too much credibility at this point. Oh, he's just dropping nukes everywhere. Denver has to attack with what he's got left, and it's not much. Let's make it count. Parasitic bombs fill the air. It's for all the bragging rights, but there's not a lot of Hydras left. There's a point up for grabs, but I don't think anybody cares. This is now an elimination game. And Denver drops the GG. Clem is the winner. He wins an 8-person free-for-all game. 8 pros enter, 1 man leaves, and that man is Clem. A 42-minute slugfest. I don't think I'm entitled to do a post-game on this one. If I had an observation to make and I couldn't get it in 42 minutes, I think I've missed my window. I've got my hands on one more of these 8-man free-for-all games, so if anybody's interested, do let me know in the comments and maybe we can make that happen. Or we can get back to our regular 1v1 meta and see what we can learn. I sure do appreciate you coming with me on this one. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.